Right. Oh man. It's Monday the 12th of February 2024. This is a year in a motorhome in the UK. Oh man, my brain is absolutely fried. I'm in the process of launching my business, which is called Nafford Junction, which I'd set up a few years ago to try and inspire others to live climate positive. But and I had put a lot of work in initially for a few months, and then Emily and I separated, and that all kicked off, and I basically needed to get some fixed money coming in. So I went and I got a client basically, and because of what's changed recently, I'm ultimately needing to do what I always planned with Nafford Junction. It's just given me a kick up the arse to have to do it now, basically. So now I'm in the process of turning Nafford Junction into a social impact marketing consultancy. It's all really, really cool, but man alive, my head is so fried. I'm getting through so much of my go-to-market plan, all the way from research and defining the target audience to creating my hero statement, my positioning statement, introduction to the business, who I support, the services and brand guidelines and logo and blah 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 blah. I'm doing all this sort of stuff. I mean, it's amazing. I've really learned how to train ChatGPT, but because I know what I'm doing, I'm able to take what ChatGPT gives me and make it really good. So that also means that I'm working at pace, at the same time as also doing work. I mean, that is obviously work, but also work. So oh god, yeah, I got up at 5 this morning. What time is it now? 10 past 8. I stopped just over an hour ago. Really wanted to go out for a run today. Oh gosh, I wasn't going to do this because it is 10 past 8, but I didn't do one yesterday for basically the same reason, but also I was over at Dan's yesterday getting work done, more work on Oxwich, so I wanted to make sure I do today, because otherwise I'll forget some things that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, that's that. But on that, so I'm parked at the plot again that's near Pershaw, and the thing that's nice here is because there's nobody around, I can do all the things I want to do to not just be a zombie and be on my laptop all the time. So what I do is, with the Fitbit, there's a reminder every hour to do 250 steps an hour. Now for me, it's not just about going out and doing those steps. For me, it's awareness to move and to exercise and to all that sort of stuff. So that goes off, and on my laptop I've got also a reminder every hour to close my laptop, to get outside, to have a break from it. So I have been pretty good throughout today, most of today, not all of today, but pretty good getting outside. It's a big plot here. Excuse me. It's a big plot, so I'll sort of jog up and down a couple of times. I'll go up and down a couple of times more and do sort of that action. So I'm stretching my shoulders and my front of chest. I'll circle my arms. I'll go up circling my arms one way, come back circling my arms the other way. I'll go up one way, lifting my legs really high. Go back the other way, lifting my legs really high. I'll sort of take a look towards the sun, get some nice natural daylight, take some deep breaths to get some good fresh air, and come back and carry on with it. So yeah, sort of juggling my Nafford Junction stuff, also Oxwich Adventures stuff, sort of evolving that to do a better job at reaching more people, and really defining what it is the Oxwich Adventures YouTube channel is about, what it is the Spotify podcast is about, what it is the YouTube podcast is about. So really honing what it is I'm about, basically, like a go-to-market plan for my my passion project, which is Oxwich Adventures. And then also really in the thick of final sort of starting testing, and then with the plan to go live with the Tree of Life anti-cancer lifestyle community and program for the cancer coach. It's a system we're developing ourselves, and then there's a go-to-market plan for that, and then there's user testing and influencer program and lead generation. So yeah. Bit frazzled. Anyway, I mean, that is all still relevant to living in a motorhome, because I've sort of thought about where I'm parked. This is sort of the nicest spot on the plot, but it doesn't get any direct sunlight really. So I'm thinking tomorrow I'll have to shift around the corner where I can get sunlight all the way from the morning to the sun up, from sun up to sundown. So I'll probably do that just to recharge the solar panels. I've been using a Windows laptop that's a load more powerful than my Chromebook. That's actually so much better, because it does load up new tabs in Chrome a lot quicker, and I can get through work a lot quicker. But the consideration with that, living in the motorhome, is that it won't run off a power pack. Now, the power packs I've got are USB, and this needs to be plugged in through its 3-pin plug. So I am doing that, but it means being plugged in all day. And what I've liked to do is not use the leisure battery at all, unless I'm putting on the diesel heater or I'm putting on the onboard lights, or for the water pump. But basically not use the leisure battery in the daytime for things like digital devices, so that the leisure battery's got a time to cycle. So it's charging up in the day, it's decharging at night, charging up in the day, decharging at night. I'm not able to do that, but yeah, I'm pretty happy actually. The Windows laptop, it uses sort of spikes of electricity. If I'm asking it to do a lot, like load up a load of new Chrome tabs, or do something that it needs to use its power, there's a spike in electricity. But then when it's not needing to use a lot of power, it actually consumes less electricity than the Chromebook, which I was quite surprised about. Whereas the Chromebook really doesn't have many spikes at all, because it's not got a powerful processor. So that's a consideration living in a motorhome. So I'm sort of okay with that. I've really enjoyed. I got this little table here. Especially when I'm in the motorhome for quite a period of time, the bigger table, it ultimately consumes space. So I feel mentally, like psychologically, there's more breathing space, there's more physical. I mean, there literally is more space, because this table's taken up less space. So that's a good positive for kind of mental health. So I've really enjoyed getting this small table. So that's all good, and it's a nice spot to work from just here. So yeah, that's all good as well. What I'm doing when I'm not with Arthur is I am sleeping upstairs now. I wasn't before. So yeah, the upstairs is there for me, which is also quite good, because if I'm doing everything literally here as well as sleeping there, that isn't ultimately very good for mental health. It's never actually consciously bothered me, but it is a consideration. And diversity is the route to happiness ultimately. Everything's happy with diversity, everything. So I'm happy sleeping up there, so I can kind of go to bed out of this space and go to bed up there. So that's pretty good. What happened yesterday then at Dan's? So Dan fixed the electric heater. It was something to do with like a sensor within the heater. So he fixed the electric heater so that when I plug in at a campsite, I can use the electric heater, which I absolutely prefer, because the alternative is the diesel heater, and I don't want to pollute when I really don't need to. What I did hear from somebody that works in the same office that I work in, one of his friends is also has a YouTube channel and posts about things like diesel heaters, and he said you can actually fit catalytic converters to them, which I love the idea of that, because the diesel heater doesn't use a lot of diesel anyway, so it's efficient as far as its consumption, but obviously it is pumping out something that is pollution. So I've messaged Dan today and asked if he knows anything about it and if it's something we can fit. So that's kind of a side note for another future mod. But yeah, so Dan fixed the electric heater so we can be back on proper heater with proper thermostat when we're plugged in at a campsite. He installed an additional pipe from the diesel heater into the bathroom. So now the bathroom's getting proper heat, which means I can get rid of moisture from doing the washing up, or washing, or I could even use that if I've got anything that's wet that I want to dry it. So I put my gym shorts in there today. So that was all good. He had a look at moving the thermostat for the diesel heater, because at the moment the diesel heater thinks the motorhome is a lot warmer than it really is, because the thermostat is attached to the wardrobe, which is above all of the piping that gets nice and warm. So the thermostat is a lot warmer than the actual temperature, but he wasn't able to extend it because the cable is not as long as he thought. However, he thinks he might be able to get an additional extension, so he's going to have a look at that. That goes on the future job list. He then insulated the leisure battery. So the leisure battery is in the floor. There's a decent amount of space beside, around the edge and underneath the leisure battery. So ultimately, most of the temperature loss will be underneath. So he's put some nice thick polystyrene, which is ultimately what's in the walls all around me. That's the insulation. So he's put nice thick polystyrene underneath and around the sides. So that will help the leisure battery to retain its heat. He's also fitted a very small pipe from the diesel heater into the leisure battery box. So that should feed just enough heat into the battery box to warm the battery when it's 5 degrees C, well, when it's less than 5 degrees C, so it can come up to temperature, and at that point I can turn on the engine to trigger the self-heating function on the leisure battery when it's about 5 degrees C. So that's excellent. And the good thing with doing all that is I was storing like bedding, a duvet that I would used in summer. So that was all stored underneath me, and I thought I was being really smart. So I was kind of, you got one area here directly underneath me, in the area of the diesel heater. So I was kind of thinking that's good, because the diesel heater piping gets nice and warm. And then underneath here is the onboard water tank, the 70-litre water tank, and there's a decent amount of space above that. So I think I was being really smart, keeping Arthur's stuff there so it's easy to get to for each week we're together, keeping other stuff here. However, when I cleared it out, because Dan needed to get in under here to do the work with the piping, the sheets were wet. And what I'm guessing has happened is, because there is now water in the water tank, that means that on the edges of the water tank, as the temperature changes, there's condensation. That condensation was making the blankets wet. So yet another life lesson of life on the road, is that I'm not storing anything around there. So that condensation will go pretty quickly, if there ever is any, once I've got the diesel heater on, because this whole area underneath here is heated by the diesel heater now. And what I've done is moved the bedding onto the other sofa and under there, so it's not touching the water tank. And actually, it's not even on the floor because Arthur's got some like Lego. He's got some like bows and arrows and other stuff, that other toys and things like that, like outdoor toys. So the bedding, yeah, doesn't actually touch the floor, so that should, and it doesn't touch the walls, so that should avoid any moisture from condensation. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame. And what else did I learn from yesterday? I suppose that each of these opportunities are opportunities for me to keep Oxwich clean. So the benefit of having the plastic flooring, that's the tiles that are raised up a bit, benefit of using the towels as the carpet. It's all really easy to get outside, to sweep up, and to keep the dust and all that sort of stuff down to an absolute minimum, which is all good. Dan also had a look at the onboard Renogy battery monitor, but wow, it's total mystery. It's just completely wrong compared to the Bluetooth Renogy app. I would just like the meter to let me know the charge that's in the battery. I don't really care about the watts or the amps or anything like that. I just want to know how much charge is left in the battery to save me getting out my phone, because each time I get out my phone I have to open the Renogy app. It sort of does its like that like egg timer. Well, it's not an egg timer, but the buffering wheel, loading wheel. It loads in, but doesn't actually load in. So then I have to drag down the top, wait for it to refresh again, and then I see how much is in the battery. It would be lovely for that monitor up there to show me what is in the battery. I guess I need to find somebody that really is a specialist in Renogy and lithium-ion batteries, because yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. So that's a bit of a shame. And then Dan and I also discussed the next phase of work, which is replacing the shower tray with a proper shower tray. One that is nice and shiny and slippery, that I can actually use the shower, which will be perfect as I start to get hotter and sweatier and I'm not near fresh water, especially now that I've got the extra pipe in there from the diesel heater, which will mean we can get rid of condensation pretty quickly. Is that everything for today? Yeah, what did I say? It's a Monday, so kind of first day of the week, first day of the working week in the UK. I did want to go out for a run earlier, but I'm going to aim to do that tomorrow. I did still do a pretty intense Pilates, half an hour, as soon as I woke up this morning, so it's not like I haven't done anything. But yeah, discipline of having a good break from work and getting downtime. It's the same in a motorhome. It's the same as if you're working at home. It's the same as if you go into the office. I mean, the good thing about going to the office is you are physically going there and you do have to physically come back. Whereas working at home or working in the motorhome, you're here already, so it's very easy to get carried away. And I'm like, an area I need to really work on is being okay to stop partway through something. I really hate doing it. I love finishing and then starting tomorrow, not finishing off today. But that's something I work on ultimately. I think my routine, I was also trying to do quite a lot. I wanted to do half an hour of yoga as soon as I wake up. I wanted to do go to the gym in the daytime, to include kind of half an hour or 20 minutes of exercise with a warm-up, plus a warm-up and a cool-down. After that, I wanted to have a shower and do sort of 10 minutes of mindfulness or yoga nidra, then make lunch, and then do qigong in the evening, and then meditation before bed. So Yeah, I decided that's quite a lot, and actually having the Fitbit has helped me identify that I was actually doing just way too much, basically. And so I feel better for having that awareness and being able to pace myself a lot better. So that's pretty good. But yeah, as far as being on this plot, it's lovely to come back here. It really is. I'm very grateful of this, and tomorrow I'll be doing some manual labour as my contribution to staying here. I've got a few jobs lined up, so that's all good. And that's, I mean, one reason to be in the motorhome is that there is no garden. I am literally outside when I go out of the door, but that's good. So it connects me to the world around me a lot better. And I enjoy doing a few physical things. We do. My friend Will started up a coffee and co-working group a couple of years ago. I suppose we were the founding member. Well, he was the founding member, and I was member number 2 after Will. So we're going to be doing that on Wednesday, and where I am, I'm able to walk into Evesham, so that's great. It means I'm not having to travel, burn fuel. That's absolutely fantastic. So I'm actually going to do a run to his, because we're at his house. And then because I've stayed around this area this week, and I'm going to stay around this area next week because I'm back with Arthur, and then the week after that because I'm dog sitting for the guy whose plot it is. I'm really going to aim to basically leave Oxwich put for a good few days. I'll cut right down on pollution and costs, and start going for a run around the area. As a nice decent sized run. Go into Evesham. I can actually walk into the leisure centre from here. As I'm talking about it, I really am thinking about my bike, which I really should have got a cover for my bike, because it's just, a lot of it's gone rusty, and I went to ride it the other day and went to change gear, and obviously the cable has rusted within the tube, the gear sort of tube. The gear cable is rusted within the casing, and it's pulled the gear set, the drop set, round into the wheel, so that needs replacing. Where I am now would be perfect for cycling to Evesham Leisure Centre, cycling into Evesham. I could cycle into Pershore. It's only about 5 miles. So it's also doubling up. Travelling is exercise. That's really good. But then, so that's another thing to sort out, which I have to put on the job list. Yeah, apart from that, done my usual checking the temperature. So temperature now is 7 degrees C. So that basically means that I need to make sure the exhaust covers, or the vent covers for the fridge freezer, are on, because if the temperature gets to 8 degrees C or less, that can damage the back of the fridge. So that's one thing I'm in a habit of doing now. So those covers are on. It's saying 6 degrees C now, and it'll basically go down to it shouldn't be as cold as yesterday, but it should get down to 5 degrees C through the night. But what I do with those covers, as soon as the temperature gets to around probably 7 or 8 degrees C, I take the covers off, because that basically means it's actually cooling the fridge freezer. So I don't need to put the fridge freezer on the gas at all. So it is ultimately a fancy cool box, which is great to save the pollution and save the cost as well. Yeah. Actually, and the main reason I didn't do this yesterday was because I back up everything on Google Photos, but and there's a function where you can free up space. So Google Photos will basically back up photos and videos, and once it's backed up photos and videos, it deletes the photo and video off your phone, but it doesn't do that if it's on an SD card. However, I was really worried that it had that if basically I had no space left on the SD card, so I wouldn't have been able to record a video. And even though I could see all my videos and pictures on Google Photos, it's pretty scary deleting something like 2,100 and whatever photos and videos for the last few years off my phone. In the end, I thought, sod it, I've checked as much as I can. I'd put those in the bin on my SD card for a day. I could still see my stuff on Google Photos. I just have to hope that I haven't lost all my photos and videos, because I don't. I mean, obviously this is a video diary. It's the first time I've done anything like this. I don't normally keep a diary. I do make notes of things when it's a major thing that's gone wrong in my life. But outside of that, the way I remember what I've done and have a kind of ongoing diary is taking a picture or doing a video. I often don't like having like posed for pictures or videos, because personally, that's nice occasionally, but personally that hasn't captured a moment. I like capturing a moment exactly as it is, sometimes when you don't even know that a photo's been taken, so that is what gets backed up onto Google Photos. So yeah, hopefully deleting them permanently hasn't cocked all that up. Apart from that is it for this one, and check back, maybe there'll be one tomorrow.